Hello and welcome to Mike's Gym. We're here for another workout. It's been a while since I've posted. Today is going to be the upper body day. It's been difficult to actually make it worthwhile to film this because every night it's been absolutely pitch black, freezing cold, raining or snowing or a combination of all of it, and the video just would have been barely watchable. So I've actually got a day today where it's fallen on the upper body workout, and we're going to get it done. Because it's very likely to rain, I'm going to get this filmed as quickly as possible. Just going straight through the routine, going to blast through each exercise one after the other, and then I can always narrate over it at the end. So without further ado, we're going to teleport to the warm-up and start putting them plates on bars and start smashing some iron. See you on the flip side. So as we're starting the workout with shoulders, I'm going to focus the warm-ups with that, just with some light presses standing up. I've got a lot of the equipment set up already to save time and keep the intensity of the workout flowing. I always turn to these hangs. I think they're a fantastic exercise just for releasing the chest. So I'm going to give a big shout out to David Gray, who I've featured on the channel previously. He's just now smashed a further world record in the deadlift in the Masters division at the weight of only 66 kilos. So I'm sure 2026 is going to continue to be really strong for him. Just getting these rotations in, I find they're really good to just know how well warmed up your shoulders are. And we're just going to alternate back into the hangs. I find moving my neck backwards and forwards is really good just to release my back as well. Now we're moving on just to some weight plate swings. Just very lightweight, just 5 kilos on these, but it's really good as a warm-up. So the first exercise is going to be a lateral raise. Now I'm doing this as a pre-exhaustion really, so I can really put some focus into the side delts. I've got the cable set up there, and you'll see how that's performed shortly. We're also going to finish the shoulders off with a seated Viking press. I find this is a lot better on my back. I found that standing up was a little bit awkward, and there's a lot of setting up involved with having to have bands and things like that, whereas the curve's really good with this. So I'm lying on the floor to do these raises. I find it eliminates any sort of body momentum that you could put in by moving your back and things like that. And I can really just focus on the lift, and I really feel tension throughout the whole lift. So I'm having to progress very slowly with these, so I put like a wooden fractional plate on here, because just adding 1.25 kilos to the lift just writes me off completely. So then I've got the 15 reps done with those. I'm going to get chalked up because we're now moving on to rear delts, and I've resurrected a rear delt exercise I was doing in a previous routine. I really like this one. I get a really good stretch on it, and it really seems to light up the rear delts and upper back and traps and all that sort of thing. Love this exercise. I've got the bench very far forward, so I can put my lower back and get some pressure against the bench and really focus. And then we move on to the seated press. Now this is a lot more challenging now. Now I've already done the laterals, so of course it's going to impact the strength, but I really feel this now in the shoulders, and I have to just put everything I've got into it to finish the set. So I'm aiming at 15 reps on all these shoulder exercises. I'm trying to get to failure, just doing one set on each. That's a new PR on that one. So now moving on to chest. So we're reconfiguring the cables now to do a sort of standing fly. I call this one the iron cross. I've put a bar behind so I can put my the back of my legs onto the bar, really reinforce my position to stop me moving around. I'm trying to keep the tension on the chest, nice slow reps. I'm doing all of these repetitions to a metronome, so I'm trying to be explosive on the concentric style of the movement, and then getting about 3 seconds or so on the eccentric, on the lowering portion of the weight. That really burns up the chest like nothing else. And then we're going to move straight on to a floor press using the Viking attachment. It's a bit of a quirky exercise, but again, it takes any sort of leg drive out of the movement really. It really allows me to focus on just the lift. And I just love the movement arc of the bar. And it just controls how much tension is being put on the shoulders. I used to, with just normal bench presses, get a lot of pain in the rotator cuffs and things, and this has just eliminated that altogether and allowed me to carry on with a bench press movement. So then that's the 2 chest exercises done, and then we're moving on to back. So we've got the weight stack here. Reconfigured the cable again just to have a single cable with a wide bar. But then I'm going to be lying forward on the bench at a 45-degree angle. I've got the wooden plate there just to stabilize it, and some weight plates as well on the bench to stop it rocking about. I'm going to make sure I've got my straps on here because I don't want grip to be a limiting factor with this, or let the arms come too much into play. I want all the effort on the back. It's a little bit awkward to get into position, but I really like it. It feels nice on the lower back. It's not allowing me to, if I was in a normal lat pull down position, it aggravates my lower back, whereas this doesn't. So with the reps, I'm deliberately being explosive and then holding the rep at the very end of the movement for a couple of seconds. This really makes it difficult, especially with lowering it slowly as well. So I really feel this, and again, just going for 15 reps on all of these exercises really. Just trying to grind out the last rep there, didn't quite make that one. That's pretty heavy going stuff. And then we're going to have a switch around now with the bench, so we're now facing the rack. Just took a little bit of weight off, and I'm using the little D handles. So we're going to do a seated row. But again, it takes any ability for me to move my body out of the equation. So I'm bracing myself as well with my legs. And again, I'm just using the technique where I'm holding at the end of the rep, which as the set goes on is very difficult to maintain the continuation of that. And I really feel I'm seeing some good back development from this.
Biceps.
Now with the biceps, I'm still incorporating a move that I read in the Steve Reeves book that I'm very passionate about. So I've set up some support bar behind me so I can't swing my arms or put any extra momentum into it. I'm also offsetting the dumbbells and holding them on the inside, so it forces them then to rotate at the top of the movement. So it's kind of like a hammer curl at the bottom of the movement, and then turns into a rotation. I think I need to set them up though with smaller plates, because I'm finding that the plates were just catching on my legs a little bit on some of the reps. And I just didn't have any energy for it really. So I may just look at lowering the weight and just going for say like a 20 rep set on those going forwards. Now this is another bicep exercise with the cable. And it's kind of like a lying down preacher curl that I've sort of invented, just using the support bar again, and it really supports my back. And I can, whereas I get a little bit of pain just doing standing barbell curls, and I find this is great because it's sort of working them from a different angle. it's very challenging at the end of the rep as well, which is what you want. And then we're swiftly moving on to the triceps. So this is a move I saw in the starting strength videos, Mark Rippetoe, and a lot of people would say this isn't correct form for a tricep skull crusher or whatever, but it's a different exercise to that really. It's called a lying tricep extension, so it's enabling all the heads of the tricep really to come into action. So I'm rotating the bar all the way back, and I'm getting sort of 2 rotation moves really, but trying not to bring the bar all the way above my eyes. I'm sort of holding it back a bit, which makes it more difficult at the top. And I found I was just getting massive amounts of delayed muscle soreness after doing that exercise, even though I'm really quite well used to it. And then we're just finishing off with the tricep push down by doing this at a 45-degree angle facing away. I find this really allows me to just feel the tension without sort of hunching over the bar or anything like that to try and cheat.
Alrighty then, it's the end of another workout, covered in chalk. Did not too bad today, considering that I had a gap from the last workout because of various work related things and other stuff. So I do think unless you can keep your routine fairly consistent, you will get a little bit of a strength drop. I think that comes across. However, a number of the exercises on the list today, we have upped them, so progress is still being made, so that's pretty good. Just one all out set on each one of the exercises, trying to keep the intensity high. A bit of pre-fatiguing going on as well on certain things. So yeah, it's all good. Just about managed to escape the rain, I think, that is likely to come down any minute. It's not great training outdoors, but hopefully we can resolve that situation in the near future. So I hope your training is going well. I hope you've still got commitment. It's very difficult. It's difficult to get that motivation, especially this time of year. But find it and make it happen. And keep training. At 45.
Well, it's time for some nice food and some time with the dog. I'll catch you all soon.